show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Who's at home? Which one of you scallywags are at home? Pretending it's a federal holiday. Where you at? I'm at work. Roland's at work. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080. Yeah, we're at work. Where were you? I walked here into the studio. Morgan Cunningham was the only person I could find. Some random DJ over at our sister station. I don't know who he is. I've never seen the guy before. I've never seen him. It's a tall guy, tall drink of water. I think he was almost taller than me. Younger guy, probably maybe about the same age. He just looks younger than me. You ever seen that guy?
Yeah, he's been here for 20 years.
Really? What's his name?
DJ Hawk.
Okay, you know what? He looks like a DJ Hawk. But I've never seen this guy. What does he do? Holiday DJing?
No, weekends and during
overnight.
Yeah, he used to be here a lot more, but
okay. Well, I've never seen the guy.
I did all his drops. That's why I know.
Oh, really? I've only been here 3 months. Okay, if that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I haven't seen everybody. But anyway, I walk in, I see him. I walk all through the sales department. I make my rounds when I come in because I always like to say hello to everyone. That's the way I roll. It's always been the way I roll in radio. Walk by, make yourself known. Become comfortable and familiar with the people who work with you in all facets of the business. Say hello. Be courteous. They always remember you. That's how I've always been able to sustain myself in this business, by making relationships or starting relationships with people in here. Never bugging them. Never trying to get anything. I'm not a taker. I always walk in and say, hey, how you doing? I don't do the whole thing, hey, how's the fam? Oh, children? Hey, did Joey get his braces? I don't do all of that. Okay, because that's a little too much. But I walked through today. Morgan Cunningham, here. John Silva, he's here. Roland, here. Everybody else, gone. I'm like, what's going on? Like, are we all these schmoes who showed up? And, of course, I tell Morgan, I'm like, what? The place is empty. I was supposed to come in early because I wanted to see the morning crew over at Hot. And they took the day off, and everybody else is saying, it was like, well, it's kind of a black holiday. No, it's not. It's just a holiday. That's all. That's all. And I forgot that people are going to take it off. Me thinking everybody's like me is going to be here because I know Roland's going to be here. But no, you guys took the day off. It's okay. It's all right. I'm not going to shame you. You're probably getting paid for the day. You're probably saying that right now. You're screaming at me going, I'm getting paid for the day, Reese. I don't know about you. Do we get paid double time for the day, by the way? Oh, you do. I get nothing. I get nada.
You get nada.
I get nothing.
Yeah, I get paid extra to put up with your mess.
Well, if you put it that way, it's well-deserved. If that pay, I don't think you're getting paid enough.
Oh, hey. I hope somebody hear that.
I'm just saying, if you're going to come in here and deal with me on a holiday, you won't get paid enough. But anyway, we're here. I'm just Joshua with the rest of you. Enjoy your day off. I hope you are getting, as most people do, they get chores done. There's snow on the ground, shoveling to be done, getting snow off of places that might be a little weak because we got a lot of snow over the weekend. Roseanne is loving every bit of it. Look, baby, it's snowing. It's snowing. And I'm trying to be as, supportive as I can. Yes, honey, it's snowing. Do you want to go outside? Don't be crazy, she says. I just want to look at it from my window. So she did. Took her out a little bit. We drove down to Wegmans in Norfolk on Sunday. That was a trip and a half. We also went to the Vernon Trump store that was closing down. And I got to do a monologue about that. And a lot of Republicans are not going to be happy with me, with what I'm about to share. And I've noticed this in a lot of circles. And it's a plea to conservatives in this state. What I am about to say to you today is out of love. And if you get mad at it, then you are not understanding love. Love isn't always patting you on the rump and saying, good job. You're not doing a good job representing conservatism or conservatives in this state. And you need help. And it's clear that you do. And I don't want to take the mantle of coach, but I'm taking the mantle of coach. Because I got to kick some behind around here. And it must be done for the sake of conservatism and Republicans in this state. The game must be stepped up. And I don't know if I could do it now, because I've been upset about it all weekend. And it'll have to wait. So about the 3 o'clock hour, maybe the 4 o'clock hour even. Yeah, the 4 o'clock hour. If you are sitting at home and you can't stick around for the show, make sure that you at least go back to reaseontheradio.com or WTIC.com. If you have the Odyssey app, go back to it. Because I think that this must be said. I had to get out there in the world and I had to touch you. I had to feel you. You Republicans. I wasn't really happy with what I saw. But we'll get to that. Because we're all gonna win. And I'm going to help. I'm going to assist you. Anyway, enough about that. Let's get to why we're really here. Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever asked yourself, while you're seeing all of this mayhem happening in Minnesota, have you ever thought to ask, what are these people fighting for? Have you ever asked them? Maybe a liberal who's a friend of yours or a family member of yours. Have you ever asked them, hey, Shoshana, what are they fighting for? If you get hesitation or a bunch of rambling and mumbling, or if you get they're fighting against ICE. As soon as they say against, so that stop them. Say, no, I know that you're fighting. ICE is the enemy. I get it. But what are you fighting for? Everyone in the history of the world has fought for something. Somebody comes up to you with a knife. The person with the knife is now your enemy. What are you fighting for? Are you fighting him because he has a knife? Are you fighting him because he's coming at you with a knife? No. You are fighting to survive. That is the goal. Your attacker is coming at you because he is fighting for something. To harm you, if not kill you. That is the goal. That's what he's fighting for. When someone is robbing you, they are robbing you for your goods, for your watch, for your wallet, for your credit cards, for your cash, for your jewelry. They have a mission statement. When you fight back, what are you fighting for? For those said belongings and your own safety. Everyone, no matter where you look, has a mission statement when they are in a fight. So I ask again, what are these people fighting for? Are they fighting for immigrants? All of them? They must be asked that question. Are you fighting for all immigrants in the country? And when they say yes, ask them simply, even the bad ones? Because these people who are out there are stopping ICE agents from, they say, taking their neighbors. But do you know who the neighbor is you're fighting for? What is the name of the individual that ICE is apprehending that you're fighting for? Or do you see them as one big, giant pool of immigrants? Does it not matter the reason they got here, the crimes they committed, if any, the warrant that you keep claiming you need to see? I've never heard anyone ask. They used to in the beginning. Do you have a warrant? Do you have a warrant? And that is now escalated to stop stealing our neighbors. Again, what are they fighting for? When they're spitting in the face of a ICE agent, why are you doing that? What are you spitting in his face for? Because he's a fascist, you say? What is your proof of that? Do you need proof of that? He's doing a job. He swore an oath to actually commit to getting rid of illegals in the country. He understands his job description. Do you? What does he have to do with what you are fighting for? Do you know and or care? No. We know you don't. Because your fight is about enemies. How do I know? Let's check the tape. When you were protesting to release Maduro from prison, a man who has committed atrocities in Venezuela against free people, allegedly, you wish to have him freed. You wanted him to go back. Hands off Venezuela. Who were you fighting for? Were you fighting for the millions or hundreds of thousands who were in the street of Caracas celebrating his capture? Were those the people you were fighting for? It must be asked and answered because, again, you are disrupting everything, everywhere. You are out there tussling violently with people and fighting them, keeping them from doing their job, destroying their actual property, stealing guns and paperwork and documents. What is this fight for? Is it for the child molester, the rapist, the drug trafficker? Is it for, are you fighting for them? We need to know. Are you fighting for the human trafficker? Who are you fighting for? The gangbanger? Are you fighting for the criminal? How are you fighting for them? Stopping them from being deported so they can continue to commit those crimes? What if the police were there to serve a warrant on one of these people you don't want arrested or taken in or detained? Do they get a pass because of where they come from? Do they get a pass because of their legal status? Are you protecting people based upon their race, legal status, where they come? Is that what it is? Are these protections ever afforded to other family members who might be separated from their children? Let's say mothers or fathers in the inner city? When federal agents show up? Is that happening? No. So, what are you fighting for? Again, every, protagonist has always had a mission. Braveheart, what did he fight for? Well, the hell, he said it at least 9 times in the second half of the movie. Freedom! What are you doing this for? Freedom! is fighting for something. You know what everyone's fighting for. You know exactly what the mission is. But these people don't, which is why it's so easy for them to switch to the next one. Because it's always about the enemy. Enemy, enemy, enemy. Bad guy, bad guy, bad guy. Demonize the opposition. It's not whether or not they're righteous. It's not, and when I say the opposition, it's not about whether or not the opposition's doing the right thing. They're obeying the law. They're creating situations where human beings are frustrated, fights ensue, people are getting shot. And then there's this alternate universe that people like to live in. You know, the violence would stop if the ICE agents would leave. Who's committing the violence? Well, the ICE agents. How? Well, they're provoking the protesters to make them do acts of violence. Oh, you're telling me that the presence of ICE is so volatile that these human beings, these protesters out there, can't control themselves and they're forced to spit, drive cars, run into people, actually get into fisticuffs with these federal agents just by their presence. Boy, if those ICE agents would just leave, these people wouldn't behave like animals. Which is interesting. This is very interesting. It's no different than the way Tim Walz and Jacob Fry, whatever his name is, they deal with minority groups. They don't see them as having agency, an ability to behave like normal folks. They're animals. They just are. You know, if you stop patrolling the inner city, there wouldn't be so much violence in the hood. You mean to tell me that we just allow them to sell drugs and poison their community, things would be safer? Yes, absolutely. It's wrong that you are picking on this small minority in our cities and using them and arresting them for selling drugs and just trying to get along so they can feed their families. You need to leave them alone. Less patrols. Let's try not to arrest so many black folks that are committing crimes because, you know, arresting them is a form of racism. But they're committing crimes. Yeah. But, you know, they have to. They have to. Same argument with the protesters. Well, if you would leave, these people wouldn't be angry with you. They wouldn't attack you if you just leave them alone. They're all animals. I mean, isn't that the truth, folks? Come on. Sad part is that every one of those groups likes being treated like animals. It's like getting a little puppy treat from their elected officials. Yeah, man, did you hear? Jacob Frey was standing up for us, man. He's telling the cops, man. He's telling the cops, don't come into our neighborhood, man. He's looking out. He's looking out. That's what the protesters hear. I have elected officials. I mean, in essence, the people who are in charge, telling the authorities to go away. That means we won. They're on our side. That's exactly what's happening. Catering to the animals. Oh, come on. You know these folks are animals. Sure they are. You'd have to be an animal to poison your community. You'd have to be an animal to destroy your city streets. Huh? Human beings don't do that. Civilized people don't do that. The actions of pure animals. Lesser beings. That's what they are. I know it sucks to say, but we all know it's true. You know, I don't care. If you could shoot inside of a church, shoot a kid while he's inside of his house doing homework, bullets flying everywhere, you could do all of that damage to your inner city. Steal from your fellow taxpayers. You could do all of that. Not even blink an eye. You can't be anything more than an animal. We need to ask them, folks, what are they fighting for? The answer will surprise you because there'll be none. We'll be back. It's Reese on the Radio.
WTIC? Then do us a favor. Download the free Odyssey app and favorite WTIC.
We're back. It's Reese on the radio on this Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. His birthday was Friday, but we celebrate usually the first Monday after his holiday. So, of course, there will be a tribute on the Reese on the Radio show today. I got a message in the chat room at reeseontheradio.com. Rolo asked, was Martin Luther King fighting for something? And I responded, sure was. Stay tuned. You'll hate it. And most of you will. It's just something that I have to do. So I have a whole thing prepared for that. I will get to the phones in a second, but I just want to let you know it was last January? Yeah, it had to be. Last January, I get an email from Janine. And it went to everybody. It was, a mass email. And it said, please remember we cannot play I Have a Dream over the air. And my first response to that was, that's got to be part of public use, right? Like, what? I've never remembered a day I didn't play that. And I looked into it, and sure enough, we cannot. Because if we do, we've got to pay Martin Luther King's family for it. Thought that was odd. Okay. I won't get into that. That's, for me, that becomes a war of words. Because I can't contain myself on what I really want to say about that. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'll do for now. Anyway, let's get to the phones real quick. Paul in Southington is on the line. He wanted to chime in. How are you, Paul?
Very good. Thanks for taking my call. Great show. Hey, I just want to share this quick little story, and then I want to ask you a question after, okay?
Sure.
I went out in 2022 on the Connecticut Family Leave Act, okay? Then in 2025, this past August, I get a letter followed by a phone call saying that there was some problem where I was overpaid and they want to recoup the money that was sent to me. And I said, wow, 3 years later, could you guys call me like 2 months, and say, hey, there was some kind of something went off here where you got,
Was it a substantial amount, Paul?
$1,200.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So, all right. So I said, okay, 3 years later, I said, I can make payments. I can't, come up with it all at once. And they said, okay. So anyway, I made 5 payments so far, and I intend on paying it all back. And I just sent a check out about a week ago. And I get another message the other day over the weekend. Oh, we haven't received money, blah, blah, blah. So the bottom line is I'm making payments, okay? I'm 76 years old, still working full time. And my question is, $9+ billion goes out of the state of Minnesota. And they say, oh, no, this is racism. It's coming out of that certain community. So my question is, being an old white guy, being hounded, can I claim racism?
I think at this point you should, even though, look,
really?
I know you think it's ridiculous, but I wouldn't look. They are making the case for you, my friend. And if I were you, I wouldn't give a damn. I would make them look at you square in the face and tell you that you, because of your whiteness, cannot be subjected to racism. I would make them say it and then throw it right back in their face. I would still do it.
Yeah, and you know what? I've always kidded around with people I know. My white privilege is being able to just follow rules and pay the taxes. That's about it. But anyway, listen, the thing is, if you saw the letter that they sent me saying this is the second notice, you haven't responded since the first mailing, and you know what the date was? 1970.
Holy moly.
Yeah, so this is how they keep records. But the bottom line is they hunt me down for $1,200, and $9+ billion flies out of Minnesota.
Yeah.
No problem.
I think it's probably far more than that. Exactly. It's
right.
interesting.
Hey.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call. Bye.
You got it. Let's go Ken and Vernon. Why not? Hey, Ken, how are you?
Hey, how are you?
Pretty good, sir. What's up?
Just wanted to talk to Reese, see how he
This
likes
is Reese.
meatballs at the Trump store.
This is Reese. I'm sorry. You were asking what did I think of the Trump store?
Yeah, you were talking about it, and then you changed the subject. But,
well, I am going to talk about it a little bit. There's a lot of stuff that I want to talk about, but I am going to talk about the Trump store. I'm wearing a hat that I purchased from the Trump store right now. I'm wearing the Gulf of America hat because I already had a Gulf of America T-shirt, so now the two are matching. So I'm wearing both of them today.
And then about the all the protests and rallies and that. Me myself being done over 100 of them.
Okay.
From Obama era all the way up, even at the White House. And not one of us was ever arrested. We actually shook hands with all the police there, and never any problems because we did what we did peacefully.
You know what I remember from all of those protests, and you talk about back in the Obama days, I presume you were there for like the Tea Party rallies, right, in Washington?
Well, I was really there because I've got a foundation, Save Our Kids, and I watch veterans come home from war and their kids are taken away, their houses are taken, and the judges in Connecticut, me myself, was locked up for exposing a judge. So it was for 70 million fathers that don't get to see their kids.
Damn. Well, no, I was saying my point was that some of these protests that took place in Washington, D.C., that were, Tea Party, taxed enough already, protests that were there. I remember Rush talking about those rallies and always saying that the cleanup crews would show up and be like, what the hell? It had all been cleaned up. No one left a mess.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody cleaned up after themselves. They were always respectful of the land that they were on and the place that they were on. They understood the privilege and the responsibility because they wanted to be able to come back. They didn't want to be refused a permit when they wanted to again. So they always respected the property.
Absolutely. And, once you start blocking roads, highways, and businesses and swinging at people, you become a criminal. That's what I cannot understand, how these leaders are not held accountable with their oath to tell the people, get off the streets.
I will tell you exactly why that is, Ken. It's really simple. It's as simple as this. When you have a party that doesn't have any real sort of like push behind or has let's say a policy initiative or at least an agenda, you have to sort of quietly, but almost like I guess in some broader ways, almost apologetic, if you will, for these people because they are doing your dirty work, right?
Absolutely.
So you're kind of fanning the flames while also saying we want peace, at the same time saying this is like the Battle of Gettysburg. It's like, come on, all it is doing exactly what they wanted to do, but they are using their citizens, the useful idiots that we know of, to do their bidding because Tim Walz and Jacob Frey have no real coalition of leadership to get behind them and fight back against Trump. So they're using their minions, if you will, in this case, to go out there and do their work.
Yes.
So it's sad, but that's
you
where we are.
You know it.
Thank you, sir. Thanks,
All right.
Ken.
All right, brother.
You got it. When we come back at the top of the hour, there was something that happened in Minneapolis, or Minnesota for that matter, that a lot of people are outraged about. And I get it. I get where you're out of sorts about this. But this is one of those things I tell you guys all the time, how some things need to happen in order for you to recognize and others to recognize exactly what must be done. What happened with the church in Minnesota is it can only be viewed as desperation by the agitators. And I will explain to you why that is. Because everybody saw that. You sort of look at what everyone else is posting online. Look at this. This is outrageous. Don't fall for the outrage porn. Do not. It's easy. It's low-hanging fruit. Of course you're supposed to be outraged at it. Of course you are, because what was done was insane. But you have to have perspective. It's important. You don't pull a stunt like this if you have or you've made any headway. Right? So people, imagine this. I want you to look at this in this way. You live in your house and your neighbor hates your guts. And your neighbor, it comes out every morning when you're out grabbing your mail or taking out the garbage, but when they see you, she's cursing you out. You're a bum, I hate you. You and your wife and your silly-looking kids. She's yelling at you. She's constantly yelling at you over and over again. And you ignore it. Sure, you say, yeah, beat it, Alice. Nobody cares. But she's been doing it for a long time. And she gets nowhere. She doesn't rattle you. And when she realizes she doesn't have any weight, she needs to broaden her scope. So then she'll start making it about your neighbor. I don't know how you can live next door to that guy. You know what he did? Do you know what he did the other day? That son of a gun. He did that. She starts bright. When you get nowhere, you have to broaden. You have to go neighbor-wise. That's all that's happening here. It is a desperate attempt to wreak havoc, but for one sole reason. And I'll explain that when we get back. Stand by. More news, more views. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Hey, y'all. We are back. Reese on the radio right here. Don't forget my special tribute to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. today. Roughly about maybe 3:30. What time do I have here? Let me see. I'll look up the thing. Let me see. I got that. Yep, 3:30. About 3:30. Stand by for that. It'll be absolutely fantastic. Also coming up, Don Lemon. We'll talk about him as well. So stand by for that. And also you can give us a call at 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Why did the church thing happen? Simple. Everyone's life must be disrupted. And it isn't working anymore to just be at the ICE facility in Minnesota. It's not enough. Because there are people at that facility who are tearing down fences, attacking officers, wreaking havoc, and the optics look bad. The optics look really, really bad. Because, of course, there are some people who just can't help themselves and stay away. And those are usually your Antifa types, your violent types. They must get in the fray. And there are other people who are willing to pay them hundreds of dollars to go out there and wreak havoc. And when they're out there, they are stealing the message. Other people get sucked in to said violent message. And it goes crazy. So, people had to change gears. When we come back, after we do headlines, I'm going to prove to you exactly what I'm talking about. They need a view that they've lost hold of. In the beginning, it was all about Renee Good. That conversation is gone now. Why? Too much dirt, too ugly, too flawed. Her and her wife, Becca, not good people. Unfortunately, sorry, when it comes to this whole thing, they've got dirt on him. And when I say dirt on him, they're anti-ICE and anti-establishment leanings. Don't make them look good. The martyrdom thing is over. Right now, that's like subtext. They bring up Reagan, what's her name? Renee Good. They bring her up. Whenever they bring her up, it's always about, in the afterthought. And don't forget, and she got shot. They use that when they run out of every other talking point. What needs to happen, as far as this group is concerned, is that you, in your daily lives, are not affected enough by this. So now, just because you exist, because you refuse to get into the fray, because you refuse to join them, you must be terrorized now. And that's what happened at that church. They're terrorizing the average citizen. Now, I want you to think really, really hard about that. Why don't protesters get that that's always a mistake? That always backfires. You're in a church. If you are a devout Christian, Episcopalian, Pentecostal even, when you are at church, you took the time to go to church. You know what it's like to get some people to go to church? Men even. Honey, we're going to go to church today.
The playoff games today, right?
Yes, but I promised the pastor we would be there to show support.
Oh, no. Okay. All right. I'm going to listen to the game in my earphone, though. I'll just say I've got a hearing aid or something.
Okay, fine. Come on, Stu. Stu gets down there. And he sits in the church. Why? Because he loves his wife. They've been married 30, 40 years. And who comes storming in? But a bunch of rabble-rousers. While my wife, Edith, is sitting there. Praising Jesus. Singing hymns. Meeting with her other fellow congregants that she loved. Ethel, it's so good to see you. Oh, I love the hat. Now all of that is getting completely disrupted. Why? Because a bunch of people want them, worshipers, to have their lives disrupted because they want illegals to stay in the community. And you think that they're going to say, I can't put up with this. I'm going to write a letter to President Trump. Will you please? My wife just wants to go to service. Do something. Move on. That's what they think is going to, but it doesn't ever work that way. These protesters only turn people off because, as I told you, they always send in the animals. A decent human being would know better. They would absolutely feel guilty, a degree of shame, walking into a house of worship, no matter what denomination, and disrupting those people as they were in church singing and praising God. A normal human being couldn't do it. He would look at them and say, I don't know, dude. My grandmother goes to that church, man. I don't know if I could do that. But these people are animals. And that's why. When we come back, Don Lemon may have a federal investigation against him, and we have the proof that he deserves it. So stand by for that. John Silver's coming up. He is working today. God bless him. He's in the WTIC newsroom. We'll be back. It's Reese on the Radio.
Reese on the Radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
We're back. Reese on the Radio right here live, hanging out with you. And you can give us a call at 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. We'll talk a little bit about Martin Luther King Jr. in a bit. Stand by for that. That'll happen roughly about, 3:30, a little after 3:35. So stand by for that as well. But, of course, as we always do at this time, it's headlines. President Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill is expected to exacerbate wealth and income disparities in Connecticut, offering average tax breaks of nearly $10,000 to high-income residents while increasing costs by $417 annually for low-income ones, according to the Data Haven study. The bill rolls back Medicaid and SNAP eligibility alongside tax cuts favoring the wealthy. That was always said about Donald Trump every time something like this, the tax cuts come in, and it always turns out to be false, by the way, especially when Data Haven gives this number. Let me finish reading, though. Affluent towns like Greenwich could gain $262 million in relief, yet they still won't vote for Republicans. With high earners receiving up to over $30,000 yearly, while Stanford and Fairfield will see $239 million and $158 million, respectively. In contrast, Bridgeport faces a net $60 million change, but low-income households will lose over $14 million in services, costing them more than $1,000 yearly. Now, hold on. Costing them? That's not even remotely math. It can't cost you if you didn't make the money. And that's the little sleight of hand that's done here by Data Haven. These people aren't losing money. They're just getting less. They didn't make a thing. It would be something if they were actually producing something and getting paid for it and then lost money. No. That's not what this is. Anyway, moving on. President Donald Trump, seems to be a Trump day. President Donald Trump has vowed to cut federal funding from February 1st, 2026 to sanctuary jurisdictions. He accuses protecting criminals and enabling fraud. This builds on prior failed attempts ruled unconstitutional. Connecticut officials insist the state isn't a sanctuary and fully complies with federal law. What, really? What, really? As certified during Trump's first term, attorney William Tong highlights 45 successful lawsuits against the administration and readiness for more. Successful lawsuits? You mean they're pending? They're pending. The State's Trust Act, enacted in 2013, updated limits local cooperation with immigration authorities, including data sharing and courthouse protections, focusing on public safety. Though once labeled a sanctuary by the DOJ, later repealed, Connecticut emphasizes constitutional adherence under Governor Ned Lamont. Cities like Hartford prioritize safety for all without adopting Trump's rhetoric. Some towns have similar non-cooperation policies without the sanctuary label. The threats raise concern over arbitrary defunding, prompting state vows to protect immigrant communities and challenge any cuts legally. And, it's a short one today. So now we have the stupidest thing I read today.
Yes, you do. Stupid as can be. This could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
Police in East Greenbush, New York, I don't even know where this is, issued a warning about juveniles pulling, wait for it, ding-dong ditch, overnight ringing doorbells and running away. They called it disruptive and said if caught, the kids could face harassment, trespassing, or disorderly conduct charges. Like they have always done, this story is an example of how the media forgot what it was like to be a normal kid. And that's the whole deal. That kids would do something, ding-dong. Have you ever done that, Roland? Have you ding-dong dash, or do you know anybody who may have at all? I've at least done that twice as a kid. I remember ordering pizza to a person's house. What? Okay, I'll admit that they're infantile and juvenile and even sophomoric, I might add. But ding-dong ditch, we've got to warn people about that? Be on the lookout. Some children may be running by your house, ringing your bell and running. I can't believe that it actually made a news cycle. Poor kids. It just doesn't. I don't get it. It is ridiculous. Speaking on being ridiculous, let's get to him. Don Lemon. This is interesting. Don Lemon, you all know, was a part of this group that went to the church in Minnesota. And I kind of want to go backwards here because today, after it was found out that he was a part of this group that went down there, he is now screaming racism, as Don Lemon would do. So listen to this. This is him talking, one of these silly podcasters, that very, very unattractive blonde podcaster. I think our show's called Enough Already or some nonsense like that. Oh, that's weird. Gina Laurie just called me. Okay, let me find out. I'll call her back. Anyway, listen to this.
And there's a certain degree of entitlement. I think people who are, in the religious groups like that, it's not the type of Christianity that I practice, but I think that they're entitled, and that entitlement comes from a supremacy, a white supremacy. And they think that this country was built for them, that it is a Christian country, when actually we left England because we wanted religious freedom. It's religious freedom, but only if you're a Christian and only if you're a white male, pretty much. And so, yeah, I absolutely 100%, but it's an intimidation tactic. And, I said, I don't understand how I've become the face of it when I was a journalist. I do understand that I'm the biggest name there. And I'm also, as I was on with my producers this morning, you and Kylie talk all the time. My producers were saying, I said, how did I become the face of this? And my producer said, Don, you're a gay black man in America.
Yeah, so now Don Lemon thinks that Harmeet Dillon of the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice is going after him because he is a gay black male. But that's just hogwash. Let me explain. Here is Don Lemon telling everyone after the fact, as I said, we go backwards. After the events at the church, telling people he knew nothing about what was going on. Now he's screaming racism. But again, right before he screamed racism, he told everybody, I didn't know what was going on. They showed up and we just followed.
MAGA administration and the fake news MAGAs are losing their mind over something that's not even true. I had no affiliation to that organization. I didn't even know they were going to this church until we followed them there. We were there chronicling protests.
Now, you heard that, right? We didn't even know they were going there. We followed them, he says.
I had no affiliation to that organization. I didn't even know they were going to this church until we followed them there. We were there chronicling protests. Once the protest started in the church, we did an act of journalism.
Yeah, he did an act of journalism. But that's not true at all. Because before the group even got to the church, Don Lemon was there. And he said this, not in private, not even in a private conversation that someone recorded. He filmed himself saying it.
They're getting the operation together. Again, this is an operation that is secret, that they invited folks out. Can't tell you what is going to happen, but you're going to watch it live unfold here on the Don Lemon Show. There are for this reason, it may look like MAGA coded, but there's a reason they have so many white people here. I'm just going to be honest. It's because of the operation that they're doing today. It's important to have allies, as they said, white allies here.
Now, again, not only is he explaining what's happening, he's also saying that this group made sure to have a lot of white people there so it didn't give the illusion that these people were rabble-rousers, agitators of the left. They said, in Don Lemon's own words, listen, he uses MAGA-like.
They look like MAGA coded.
See? It looks like MAGA, so no one would suspect them.
But there's a reason they have so many white people here. I'm just going to be honest. It's because of the operation that they're doing today. It's important to have allies, as they said, white allies here. So that is what I could say. I turned our camera off of them because they're giving some critical information here. But there we go. Everybody's ready to go.
Everybody's ready to go. He knows what's going on. He moved the cameras from them so that he would not record them, planning out the whole thing, which he knew everything about. But don't take my word for it, folks. I don't want anybody to assume that I got that from Don Lemon being away from the group. Let's let Don Lemon show you.
Let's go. Okay. Thank you guys for allowing me to be here. Thank you guys.
Okay.
How are you?
Good.
to see you. We're on. We're not saying what it is, what's going on, but
we're not saying what it is and what's going on. Don Lemon There's your evidence, folks. Harmeet Dillon, that's your evidence. We're not saying what's going on, which means he had prior knowledge of it. He knew what was going on. Of course he did. What journalist wouldn't ask? Right? A smart journalist would say plausible deniability. We'll just ride along. But we didn't say what was going on. But hold on, just in case you folks on the left don't think maybe, Reese, that's thin. That's not enough. Don't worry.
Thank you. Tell us why you're doing this.
So
this is Nakima Levy Armstrong. She's on the show on Friday.
Levy Armstrong, civil rights attorney, longtime activist here in the community. And, we protest and do activism in all kinds of ways. This is Operation Pull Up, more of a clandestine operation. We show up somewhere that is a key location. They don't expect us to come there. And then we disrupt business as usual. So that's what we're about to go do right now.
So Don Lemon, again, remember what he told you. He knew nothing about it.
MAGA administration and the fake news MAGAs are losing their mind over something that's not even true. I had no affiliation to that organization. I didn't even know they were going to this church.
I had no idea they were going to this church. He just showed up there. He just happened to be at the church, or he followed them. He was a part of the group. And thank goodness he recorded it and everybody has it, because it's everywhere now. And now there will be a civil rights charge because there were parishioners there. And parishioners, well, they have a constitutional right to praise and assemble. They do. And they are not allowed to be protested in that fashion. That is a violation of their constitutional rights to gather. There are no free speech protections at a house of worship. Not when you come there to disrupt. And you had no permit to do so. That is private property. And you could damn well bet Don Lemon is doing a whole lot of backpedaling now because he knows that Harmeet Dillon and especially the Trump administration is probably looking at that and says, you better throw all the books at him. All of them. Throw the genderqueer book at him, too. All the books. You know damn well that's exactly what they're saying. Oh yeah, that's the Don Lemon guy. Oh, did he talk a lot of crap about the president? Oh, and he went in there to the church and disrupt those fine people? Oh, we got to do something about that. Hold on, I have the article here because I didn't get to print it. Fired CNN host Don Lemon might get prosecuted by the Justice Department for joining an anti-immigration and customs enforcement protesters who stormed a Minnesota church service on Sunday because the pastor is allegedly tied to ICE, Civil Rights Division Chief Harmeet Dillon implied on Sunday night. The Assistant Attorney General had already confirmed her division was investigating potential violations of the Federal Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act by the church crashers, a rare but statutorily permissible use of the 1994 law. It was overwhelmingly been used to prosecute pro-life activists who seek to blockade abortion clinics, with President Trump pardoning 23 in his first week back in office. A house of worship is not a public forum for protests, Dillon wrote on X, sharing Newsmax host Todd Barnes' quotes of the now independent video journalist Don Lemon when he explained to viewers that crashing the church was justified by the freedom of protest to protest. Protests are not comfortable, he said. So Harmeet Dillon saying, we got the guy on tape. And again, that's only because Don Lemon is an idiot. Always has been. You may say, but he's got 20 years on CNN. That means nothing. That means no thing. Let's go to the phones. Hey, Sharon. Sharon's calling from Simsbury. Hello. Sharon?
Hi, Reese. Hi.
Hey, what's going on?
Thank you. Just wanted to give a quick point.
Yes.
Don Lemon, yes, he said he is an idiot. Besides that, he is so disrespectful.
Yes.
Did he and his posse yesterday pulling that nonsense at that church, did they not realize that the people living in Minneapolis just had the church shooting on the first day of school in September.
That's right.
When two young children were killed, and the fear when he burst in with all his cameras and his nonsense, what must have gone through those parents and those kids' hearts.
Such a good point. Such a good point.
It was, what was that, 5 months ago?
Yeah.
And I don't know where it is in relation in the town, but in that city, they just had a shooting. And children, I believe 2 of them from memory were killed. Terrible.
You know, the thing is,
Harmeet goes right after him. Harmeet
exactly.
will go right after him.
The thing is that you are 100% right, Sharon. There is a culmination of things that are happening in that town that those citizens who have been quiet, right? They have not been out in any protests. They're not online. They're not there's not this crazy, counter protest, if you will, against them. It's been the protesters versus ICE, and everybody else is just trying to live their life, not in the spotlight. And then you come to their house of worship to invite yourself into their life to be a part of this nonsense. And it's like you're creating enemies because I always say if you're going to protest, you should always try to win hearts and minds. Right? Show that you're celebrating whatever. In essence, there's a celebration of what you're fighting for, as I began in the opening monologue. Telling people in a consistent way what you are fighting for. Like earlier when I said about the Tea Party thing. Those people were saying taxed enough already. They are there to fight against being taxed too much by the Obama administration. These people are going after folks who are quietly worshiping and want no parts of that.
Exactly. The only thing that had hit me on that, and Don Lemon, or Lemon, as he's called on other channels, what a fool. And he'll get what he deserves, finally. It was very disrespectful. And I just thought from my heart, what was in the hearts and minds of the people when they saw what was going on. The pastor did an excellent job keeping it calm, keeping it peaceful. But, just a few months ago, on the first day of school at the Catholic school at Crosstown in Minneapolis, there was the situation.
Yeah, and again, who was it by? Who was it by? As far as on the ideological sphere, it's one of theirs. It's one of their folks, and then they again go into a house of worship. And you're 100% right. I'm sure that there's at least 1, 2, if not 5 people who are saying to themselves, oh, my goodness, like you're invading our space. Look, these people don't stop at nothing to come after us. And not only that, they've made it abundantly clear their abject anger about people who are just Christians or God-fearing or those who follow Jesus. They have absolutely just condemned people who are religious, as Don Lemon is doing, calling them white supremacists because they didn't want their church to be invaded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, his day is coming, whether it's through Harmeet Dillon and her group or in the end.
You know what? Like, listen, the fact that he's lost his job at CNN has made him desperate and attention-seeking, and that always fails when you're absolutely, like, for him, all I could see in that was just reckless fame-seeking, and you know what? In doing so, he obviously violated the law. I think I'm with you. I hope Harmeet Dillon goes all out against him.
She will. She's excellent. She's excellent. Thank you.
You got
Thank you for letting me call.
My pleasure, Sharon. You too. We'll be back. We got to take a break, and we'll return talking about Martin Luther King Jr. on this holiday celebration when we return. It's Reese on the radio.
Listen to WTIC News Talk 1080 on the free Odyssey app. Download and like WTIC today for alerts on special programming.
We're back. It's Reese on the radio on this Martin Luther King Jr. holiday edition of the program. We'll get into that in a second. We have plenty of stuff to get to, but you guys, of course, are calling in, so I want to get to the phone calls as quick as I can. And then I will talk about today's holiday, as it were. Let's start with Ralph in South Carolina. Hello, sir.
Reese, global warming hit South Carolina.
Wait a minute. Does that mean it's become incredibly warm or incredibly cold? Because you can't tell anymore.
How about 28 degrees this morning and colder tomorrow morning?
Yeah, it had to happen eventually.
A couple other things, Reese. Do you think if that was a mosque, they would have gone there?
No, because look, it's just Ralph, I don't have to tell you. It's sort of like when you see like the pride parades or the gay protests or the transgender protests. They'll go to a Catholic church. I mean, first and foremost, they'll go to anybody celebrating what would be considered a Catholic or Christian religion. They would stay the hell away from a mosque because they know exactly how they be treated. And to be honest with you, the public officials would turn around. Even Mom Dottie would look exactly at the gay activist and go, now, you know that was dumb, right? I mean, come on.
Well, another thing, too, Reese, that I'd like to bring up is why, if you're black and you're being investigated, they claim it's racist.
Probably because, again, the law, what Don Lemon is trying to tell people, and that's that's the skirting over the issue, is that because Don Lemon is gay and black, he couldn't have possibly broken any law. The only reason why they would target him is because he's gay and he's black. Not that he did something unconstitutional. Not that he violated somebody's constitutional rights. That it cannot be about that. Make it about being black and being gay, and people will immediately glom to that. He knows it's nothing more than a dog whistle and a race and gay card.
Right, but look what happened with the Somalis. I mean, everything is racism. Did they do it or not? That's what I want to know.
I'm sorry. Look, we are
not.
Listen, we are Somalian. You know where we come from. Fraud happens every day. Why do you have to pick on us? What about everybody else who does fraud? And this is always the argument by people who cannot defend the undefensive,
right.
the undefendable. That's why that's it. Go ahead.
One last thing, Reese, if I can. Would you like to go into business with me? Let's start a male birth control pill business. And what we can do is the liberals and all the progressives, they'll buy stock. And we can start a business, sell the stock, and we can, making up a birth control pill for a man shouldn't be too tough.
I want nothing in the pharmaceutical business, but nonetheless, thank you. Appreciate you, Ralphie. Have a good one. Let's go to Lori. Hello, Lori.
Hi. How are you?
What's going on?
Oh gosh. Well, I'm sorry for the way that I sound. Every time I come back from visiting my brothers, I end up getting sick. So hopefully, I'm on the other side.
What virus do you have now?
I know, right? I think it's. My niece was diagnosed with flu A as I was preparing to go to the airport, and she had been all over me, giving me all the cuddles and snuggles before I left. And so I was like, okay, maybe I've got a pretty good immune system. I had the flu last year last time I came back from Florida. Sure, and I'll be fine this year. Nope. And Don Lemon should learn, because I should learn. That hubris is never a good thing.
Never
have pride in something that you think you've got a handle on, but in reality, it's not under your control.
Which shows that it's a good point about all of this. Don Lemon has spent so much time in a studio working as a so-called journalist. He clearly does not know how the real world or how journalism operates on the ground.
Well, his ego won't let him.
Yep.
But I didn't necessarily call to talk about him. I do have a incredibly funny, as you would assume I would, funny story about a ding-dong ditch.
Oh, please.
Oh, my goodness. All right. So I was a resident director for a boys program in the town where I live, and we had they used to take me to the stupidest movies. Mm-hmm. And I would chaperone them. I would walk in. I would stand about as much as I could of the stupid movies, and then I would go out to the lobby and just wait for them for the rest of the time.
Oh, really? You wouldn't sit for the whole film?
One of the movies. Well, would you if it was Bad Grandpa? Come on. Movie was the...
I watched that whole movie.
IQ point.
I watched that whole thing.
IQ point.
No, not for the fairer of the sexes, I will admit.
Oh, my heavens. So we watched the movie Bad Grandpa, and we were leaving the theater, and they're like, oh, man, could we do something stupid like a ding-dong ditch? And I'm like, what? And they said, yeah, could we do a ding-dong ditch? And I'm like, oh, gosh. And we happened to be in a town that was close to where my parents live.
Oh, okay.
So I thought, okay, well, if we're going to ding-dong ditch anybody, we're going to ding-dong ditch my parents.
Of course.
That at least they'll be reasonable about it. So we drive to their house. And please know that it was a big green van.
Okay.
So it didn't look suspicious at all.
Okay.
You know, this big green van with this white chick driving and a bunch of urban boys. Oh, yeah, no, we did look suspicious. So anywho, we go to the house. One of them jumps out of the van, runs, a couple actually, two of them I think it was, jump out of the van, go to the door, ring the doorbell, run back to the van, and they come in, you know, they close the door and I take off. and I'm like, okay, are you guys happy? And they're like, yeah, thanks so much for letting us do that. And I called my mom and I said, hi, yes, somebody just rang your doorbell. As they're doing the ding dong ditch, I'm calling her to let her know that it's us.
Yes.
And but of course she doesn't answer the phone. But so I left her a message and said, don't worry, nothing's wrong. It's just we just rang your doorbell. The boys wanted to do a ding dong ditch. I'm sorry. And I hang up and I leave the message. So we leave. And next thing I know, we're being followed. So I'm driving away down the street on the way to go back to the town where we live. And I'm like, geez, that's weird. It seems like somebody's following us. And in a big white pickup truck.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh. And the boys are just like, yeah, like, what's going on? We're being followed. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Next thing I know, we're going over a bridge, and the pickup truck's got the hazards on, and I'm being followed now by a patrol car.
Oh, no.
So so there I am. You know, we get over the bridge. We get to a place where the police officer felt like he could safely pull me over. And so he pulled me over. He said, hi, do you have your license and registration? I said, sir, I'm going to tell you right now, we were at my parents' house. The boys saw the stupid movie, Bad Grandpa. They wanted to do something dumb like a ding-dong ditch. So I thought the safest people to do it to were my parents. That's why we were in their neighborhood, and that's what we did, and I'm not sure why you're pulling me over. And he's just like, you could tell he was suppressing a laugh.
Right.
And he's just like, oh, he's like, so you're attached with these boys? And I said, yes, sir. I am their resident director. I just chaperoned them to the movie. I don't sanction what they want to watch. I just take them to the movies and let them do their thing. And I thought they're stupid teenage boys. If they want to ding-dong ditch somebody, it's better
do it
to have
safely.
it be somebody that we know
Yeah.
rather than somebody that we don't know. And he's just laughing. He's just like, God bless you. And I said, thank you. And
But what prompted...
He's just like, just go on your way, honey, because clearly no ticket is going to... clearly you pay already a high price for what you do. So
Wait a minute.
Don't worry.
So who was the pickup truck following you? Was that a neighbor alerting to what the kids are doing, following you, and then alerting police?
So come to find out that I did not know that in my parents' neighborhood as of late, there had been some shenanigans.
So it's neighborhood watch.
Yes. And of course it's Italians. Like everybody in the neighborhood is Italian.
So in thinking you picked the right neighborhood, you essentially picked the wrong one.
And I said to my mom, I said, well, at least you know that your neighbors are looking out for you. That's
true.
The benefit of all of this.
That is the benefit.
And I gave a police officer a really good story to tell his wife when he got home.
Yeah.
So, there's
But
that.
I'm going to give it to you. Lori, you know what? I got to tell you, it's smart that you picked your parents, even though I don't know, there's a part of me that just says, damn, why would you do that to your parents? But I get it. You just didn't want the boys to get in trouble. You were alerting your mom of what was going on. It's just the outside forces you can't control.
Exactly.
Which again goes to the old saying, Lori, no good deed goes unpunished.
And if that's gonna happen, it's probably gonna be me.
Indeed, but that's actually a really, really good story. I'm glad everybody made it out safely. I really am. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Lori. We're going to take a break. I know we're going to get into the whole deal with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. You don't want to miss it. You just don't. And it's sort of my response to why we can't play the I Have a Dream speech. But I'll lay it out for you in a little bit. We may have to push it back, but stand by. We're going to get into it in a quick second. Plus, I've got text messages and emails to read and stuff like that. So we'll go to a break and then we'll come back. And then we'll take Bob, who's in New Britain. Bob, stand by. We'll get to you in a second. Is it Rob? Oh, darn it. It's Rob in New Britain. See, it looks like a B. That's not my fault. Rob is in New Britain. We'll get to him when we come back as well. It's Reese on the radio.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we don't have any. Are we still doing weather? We're just not doing traffic today, of course, because of the holiday. So stand by for that if you want to know what the weather like. It looks pretty outside. This is the type of weather that looks fantastic because it's everything. All the snow is white and all the snow is on the trees and the branches. It is perfect right here. Wednesday, crud. It's going to look like, again, nature's litter. It's going to be brown. It's going to be dirty. Ow. Ow. If it doesn't get warm, this is going to be there. It's going to be dirty. People have been walking on it, out there making snow things and all that stuff, playing in it, making it all dirty. I love it when it's white and pristine. White and pristine. Let's go to Rob. He's in New Britain. Hello, Rob.
Hello, the Rhythm the Rebel.
What's going on, big guy?
Hey, not too much. A couple things. One was I was watching a special on Chappelle, comedy special. And
yeah.
He talked about how it was Stevie Wonder who went to Congress and got them to make Martin Luther King Day a holiday for his birthday.
Uh-huh.
And I never knew that. I was just like, wow.
I'm sure he was part of a coalition of people who wanted to make it a federal holiday. There were a lot of people who pushed back against that. Many people don't know that it was a bipartisan pushback to make Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday federal.
The Democrat that passed away, John something, last year.
John McCain in Arizona, and the other person who, as a nice little sort of elbow to the civil rights movement, people forget this, was William Jefferson Clinton, also known as the first black president.
Yeah.
Bill Clinton, let me tell you how. A lot of people don't know this. Go look it up. On the same date as Dr. Martin Luther King's holiday, Arkansas also made Robert E. Lee Day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, let me say this about Jack Lemmon. I hope they make real lemonade out of that sucker.
Thank you, Rob, as always, sir.
You guys.
Thank you, man. You got it. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It's a weird story. And when we come back at the top of the hour, I'll explain this to you. It's really, really complicated. I was watching an old HBO series called Assume the Position with Robert Wall. A lot of you will remember Robert Wall from this movie, particularly. He had an HBO series called Arliss, for those of you who remember. But for those of you who may not have watched that program, he was the reporter in the first Batman movie with Michael Keaton. He was partnered up with Vicky Vale, played by Kim Basinger. And Robert Wall is, I want to call him sort of a historian of sorts. He's passed away recently. I think he's since passed. And I could be wrong. I'll double check that. I have a feeling that he has. But he had a TV show on HBO called Assume the Position. And what he did was he went into a college classroom and he taught things about history. And I think one of the lines he said was, these are the stories that made up America and America made up. And many I was very familiar with. Some not so much. But I saw the first episode of this, and I'm driving coming from Wegmans, which I'll, by the way, talk about very soon, my trip to Norwalk. And I told Roseanne, find this video, and we have HBO. She put it on, and she watched the episodes. We listened to them all the way home, and it was so much fun to relive it. But Robert Wall said something in this series that I remembered. That's why I told her to bring it up. And it's what Napoleon said about history. and many others to follow. We'll bring all of that up when we do. Stand by. Let's say a retrospective of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. when we return. Stand by for that. It's Reese on the radio. We don't have traffic, but we will get to weather, and we'll return in a moment right here on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
And there's a story that I actually had Roseanne looking up. We might talk about it on Friday. The World Economic Forum spreading disinformation about capitalism and a whole bunch of other stuff. A woman did this interview about how she was blackballed, lost everything, forced to move back home with her parents when she discovered some of the mis and disinformation, as these bozos try to call it, flat out lies that these people were spreading. And then, you know, sort of affecting governments across the globe. And she saw that and she couldn't believe it was going out. And because she had said something about it, they ended up destroying her life. But Roseanne watched the very long piece. I have to admit, that woman, there's a reason why I will give her anything that she ever was. Because she said to me, I can't believe how boring that thing was. I felt so bad that I made her do it. Speaking of having to do something yesterday, Roland, real quick. So we went down to is it Norwalk? Is that where we went? Yeah, Norwalk, to go check out the Wegmans that's down there. I will admit this. I love the parking lot is covered. The building is massive, but the inside no bigger than the one that we have in Northern Virginia. But still nice, very clean. And there were some different things. The coffee kiosk was really nice. And here's why I say it was really nice. So we get there, and we just show up, and we hadn't had our coffee yet. So we go there, and we get coffee, and this guy named Pierce was there. So we get the coffee, and Roseanne wants to go get a chocolate croissant, and I wanted a bagel. So we were like, but wait a minute, there's a self-checkout right here next to the coffee kiosk. But we want to go all the way back there to get some coffee. Like, do we need to do that and then go back? He said, no. Drink your coffee. Go get your stuff. Go look at the store and come back and pay after. I was like, whoa. But then I remembered the damn place has got my biometrics in the building.
Yeah, where you going?
It's like, I was like, where you going? If you walk out without paying, we're going to know.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, man. I said, but there's a degree of that I had to say, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's like, he was just like, no. Enjoy your coffee. Go get your bagel. Go get your, your chocolate croissant. Come back up.
This is a safe space. You don't have to worry about nothing.
Goodness, I didn't think about it. So sure enough, we get that. We did pay for it. We went right back, checked it out, and then went upstairs. We ate, and then we went shopping. Roseanne only had one complaint about the place, and that was they didn't have her essential oils. It was a very limited bunch of her essential oils, but they had a lot of vitamins there that she was very, very expensive, that she was very interested in. We almost broke the bank in that place, but we walked out with some olive oil. And I think it's about it. So maybe some other stuff. Like I can't even remember what some stuff was.
We spent how
much?
I think we spent $160 something.
Okay.
But then we also I went and put the groceries in the car.
And then
we came back in and ate.
What did you have?
I had a bowl. I'm a simple dude, so you can't ask me. She had some sushi and
I did see a guy having sushi there.
Some other stuff. She was like, it was great. But I had a bowl of jasmine rice.
Okay.
Chicken and jasmine rice and chicken.
Let me tell you this. We spoke to that guy Pierce at the coffee kiosk. They have to bring Wegmans up here.
Yeah.
They got to do it. Even he was saying, he was like, look, we've only been here, I think he said about 6 months is what he thought. And he said, we've got to bring one up there. He goes, but we got to see at least a year what we look like down here. And then, of course, we would expand. But the first place they want us to expand to is Milford.
That's not down here.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm like, Milford? I'm like, dude, get to Hartford.
That's even... Well,
it's technically the same distance, but no one's going to go to Milford for this place.
Well, Milford people...
they'll love it.
They're trying to stay... Seems like they're trying to stay close to New York as possible.
Yeah, I think that's also true. But they need... Look, they're already in Buffalo. Just come across the... It's with the border. Bring it up here, because people would like it. Now, ShopRite and stop and shop.
It's gonna be shut. They're gonna be out of business.
No, you have to step up your game, gentlemen.
Then it won't be. Yeah.
It would be, because people will love this place. You'll fall in love with it the minute you walk in. Like I said, it's not one of those places. I tell you, Whole Foods is a little different, right? It's got a certain atmosphere. You walk in, there's yoga pants, Lululemons everywhere. All these health conscious people, you almost feel intimidated. I can't spell half the things that's on there. Nothing against Whole Foods. It's just not my cup of tea. Wegmans is like that nice little middle
Stu
ground.
Leonard's.
Yes. It's like right in that special place. It's like, it's perfect. So it'll be years before they get up here. But if they do, it's going to be a lot of problems, as they say. A lot of problems.
Yeah.
We got to take a break. Let's get some weather. We'll come back. I will finally lay out my case about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s holiday. You won't be mad. You might be upset, but you won't be mad. We'll be back.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back. Now, Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, in a lot of ways, back in the days when I first started in radio, I can openly and honestly admit that I used to poke fun at the hip-hop community on this day. I can tell you that right off the bat, that when I would talk about this day, when it came to the black community or the hip-hop and R&B community, I would clown this day. But the foil would be the hip-hop and R&B community. How it started is real simple. Now, I grew up like many other young black kids, loving and adoring and respecting the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. But there was one day when I had a turn, and I was in Manhattan, and I was in Harlem. No, not necessarily Harlem, just south of Harlem, on Fifth Avenue. And it was the annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. parade. And unlike other parades in other towns in the South, this one did not end in gunfire. But it was embarrassing nonetheless. Why? No one showed up. A bunch of kids who had practiced, who were going to be out in the cold playing instruments, girls twirling their batons, celebrating Dr. Martin Luther King. It's supposed to be an achievement. They're out there showcasing their talents for the people who would watch. And let me tell you something. There were more people outside of museums on Fifth Avenue, far from Harlem, than there were people who showed up in Harlem. It was embarrassing. It broke me. And then came the jokes. As soon as I got on radio, I ripped folks to shreds. I told them that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday was nothing more than a day off to the black community, and they knew it. But they tried to cancel me for it. They came after me. How dare he? What are you doing on Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday? How will you be celebrating his legacy? What will you be doing for your community? Chirp, 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 chirp. Crickets, damn it. Crickets. Nobody had an answer. It doesn't matter what I'm going to be doing. You shouldn't be saying that. But I did, and I will continue. It doesn't matter. This case is still the same today. It's 2026. If you'd have asked them, what are you doing today? Somebody's saying, well, with the day off, I'm finally going to head to the bank. Oh, no, you can't do that anymore. It's a federal holiday. Well, can't do that. You'll run some other chores, I'm sure. But celebrating it, I mean, what are you going to do, watch Juice? Huh? What are you going to do, huh? Watch like a Tyler Perry movie? Yeah, I get it. I clown it. I know. It's just who I am. But don't get mad at me. Do something so that I can sit back and go, oh, you know what? They showed me up. But they won't, because they're intellectually lazy. But that's not why you came, right? It isn't. I just want to let you know where I am in all of this. Started as a kid, loving and adoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., thought it was important for us as African Americans to celebrate his holiday. I mean, for crying out loud, Stevie Wonder made a happy birthday song about him that then African Americans commandeered for themselves, which I always say every time they play happy birthday or sing happy birthday at some schmo's birthday party, everybody goes, happy birthday to ya. You know what I say every time? This is Stevie Wonder's song to Martin Luther King Jr. It's not your birthday song. Just sing happy birthday to you and get it over with. That's for everybody. Stop singing Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday song. It's for him, not for you. And what did they say? That's just our culture thing. Okay, fine. Disrespect the man. Fine. So if you can disrespect him, you won't be too mad at me. It's come to my attention that everything I thought about Dr. Martin Luther King is a farce. It's a lie. But before I get there, I want to quote some people. These people are very famous for talking about history and how it applies to our society. The history that is true and the history that we know. As I said earlier, I was watching Robert Wall on Assume the Position on HBO. You can still find episodes. There are only 2. If you have an HBO Max account, you can go watch it. You should. It's pretty entertaining. And in that first episode, Robert Wall says a quote by Napoleon Bonaparte. I'd like to read it, but I'd like to read others. Bonaparte said, history is a myth that men agree to believe. Voltaire said history is a fable agreed upon. John F. Kennedy said, the great enemy of the truth is very often not the lie, deliberate, contrived, and dishonest, but the myth, persistent, persuasive, and unrealistic. Thomas Jefferson said, nothing can now be believed which is seen in a newspaper. Truth itself becomes suspicious by being put into the polluted vehicle. Thomas Jefferson said that. That's the media today. The history of our race to each individual's experience are sewn thick with evidence that a truth is not hard to kill and that a lie told well is immortal. Mark Twain. History often resembles myth because they are both ultimately the same stuff. J.R.R. Tolkien. I've always preferred mythology to history. History is truth that becomes an illusion. Mythology is an illusion that becomes reality. Jean Cocteau. Myth is much more important than true history. History is just journalism, and you know how reliable that is. Joseph Campbell. A lie told 1,000 times becomes truth. Joseph Goebbels. When fiction rises pleasing to the eye, men will believe because they love the lie. But truth herself, if clouded with a frown, must have some solemn proof to pass her down. Charles Churchill. The rules are simple. They lie to us. We know they're lying. They know we know they're lying, but they keep lying to us, and we keep pretending to believe them. That's Elena Gorakova, a Soviet history and propaganda teacher who wrote a book called A Mountain of Crumbs. People have said a lot of things about history. I just wanted to give you a few, if not a lot. History is never what they tell us. And Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is not the hero they tell us. And it is well documented. And it is there for everyone to read. And I did. And I am upset at myself because the only person responsible for believing that lie is me, not the people who told it. It's me. If I cared enough, if I really, really related to him, I would have learned this on my own, not having someone tell it to me and then having to do the research to debunk said truths to only be embarrassed. But in the world that we live in today, we cannot accept truths because they do embarrass us and our beliefs. It is an admission of wrongdoing by us all when we realize not only were we lied to, but that we believed it so willingly. And I did, because the myth of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. seemed so perfect, seemed so mythical. And indeed, it was those things, mythical. So, to learn that the family of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. do not want you to hear the I Have a Dream speech without them getting paid for it, I figured I'd let you hear someone else who wanted his words spread to everyone. And he was the man who Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. tried to destroy. But when you hear this man's words, you will understand why he did. This is Joseph Harrison Jackson. Reverend Joseph Harrison Jackson. A person we should all be looking out to understand and recognize. He passed away in 1990. Here's a speech that is absolutely relevant today.
I've come to talk to you tonight about national unity, the strength of the nation. I wish the skies were clear. I wish the waters were calm. I wish we enjoyed the certainty and the security that we once enjoyed. We have recently been reduced to just pigmentation, Negro Americans. They call us now the blacks.
Yes, I'm black. I'm proud of it. I'm black and beautiful.
One adjective explains all of us. Not doctors and lawyers and businessmen, laborers, preachers, the blacks. This nation today is more insecure in all of its history. Enemies around us, both home and abroad. We face one of the greatest military machines since the days of Napoleon, and they're determined that we will not last.
Military power is impressive.
We have within our borders divisions,
demonstrations continue to mar the president's traffic.
fears, animosities, misunderstandings, prejudices, conflicts, a will to destroy, group against group. These are dangerous times. There were some people who said it is not by obedience to law, it's by disobedience to law that we can have our strength and our power and our security.
And we feel that we have to do it this way in order to bring the evil out into the open.
The Office of Economic Opportunity.
The federal government has set out teams to find out what is wrong in the United States. Sociologists have studied it. and they talk about money.
Many aspects can only be successfully dealt with at a national level. For example, wages.
I want to tell you tonight what is wrong with America, basically. The basic problem facing the United States of America today is we're trying to take a foreign ideology.
Are the communists running this conference?
And solve America's problems.
The Southern Christian Leadership Conference, the Young Socialist Alliance, the Du Bois Club.
There is an ideology which says that the future is based on class struggle.
We are poverty-stricken, and we have been at the bottom too long. All right. And we are determined to come up.
That same school of thought, when it moves among people, if it does not find a conflict, it creates one.
It is necessary to create a problem in order to get to the real solution of the problem.
That ideology says that there can be no freedom for individual citizens until every order, every form of government is destroyed, but the one in which they believe.
That there must be a restructuring of the architecture of our society where values are concerned.
You cannot spend enough money to buy patriotism. You cannot spend enough money to buy loyalty. You cannot spend enough money to buy character. For morals cannot be purchased with money, and cash is no guarantee of character.
Joseph Harrison Jackson right here on Reese on the Radio. Go look him up. We'll be back after this.
Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Yeah, we're back. Now, I normally don't tell people to do this because there is a cost to it. But I did it for you, and I got to be honest with you, I enjoyed it so much that you must watch it. So that clip that I played, and why it's so important from the Reverend Joseph Harrison Jackson. The reason why I played it is because it was posted today by a guy by the name of Chad Jackson or Chad O. Jackson. Many of you have forwarded his, not info, but his stuff to me. I've known about this guy since the first film he did called Uncle Tom. And he is a younger black male. He's probably in his 40s now. Business owner, and he did this one documentary called Uncle Tom. Now, if you want to watch that movie, I would say yes, please do, so you can understand his work. If you want to find it, download the free app Tubi on your television. Do you have that? Do you stream a lot of stuff on your thing, Roland? You don't watch Tubi? Okay. Well, I only watched it because the only reason why I downloaded Tubi is because there was a movie that I really love called The Principal with James Belushi and Lou Gossett Jr. And I wanted to watch it, and it was like, oh, it's free on Tubi. I was like, I'll download Tubi. And then in watching Tubi, I saw Uncle Tom there, and I know I watched the first one, but I never watched part two. Well, lo and behold, they're both there. And Chad O. Jackson is the producer of both. And then I hear he's doing this thing called the MLK Project. What's this about? Now, I had heard the rumblings about some of the things that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was accused of being a part of, and they're, of course, usually salacious stuff. Did he have affairs against his wife? Clearly he did. There were several women. But then somebody sent me something a couple of days ago, and I chose not to bring it up today because it would be so poorly received. But let me just tell you, when the story is finally released from the FBI files in 2027, there is going to be hell to pay. And it will start a conversation I know is going, there will be fights. That's how bad it is. And again, there will be concrete evidence to what they release and people will not know how to take it. It's so bad. Okay? It's really bad. And they have kept it hidden for this long. In fact, I was the one who told you not too long ago that I am of the belief that it is so bad that it may not be released in 2027. Even though people know exactly what it is. So I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to kick that hornet's nest today, not out of fear, because I almost felt like it was unnecessary. So I will let the federal government do what it does. If it comes out, we have to discuss it, we'll discuss it. I don't want to be the guy. I just don't. Just don't. Anyway, that being said, aside from that stuff about the cheating and the affairs and stuff, I didn't want to get into all of that. That's not what it's about. It's about what he truly believed. And that's what really, really hurt my vision of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So if you're interested in seeing the MLK Project, please look it up. I think it's available on Vimeo. And each episode is about $5-6. There are 8 in total. Or you could buy the entire package, which is about $40. But I will tell you, you should at least watch it. It is a tutorial into the history of the civil rights movement. And as I mentioned in the beginning about the myth, they lay out how it was all put together. Step by step by step. And what's beautiful is that Shadow Jackson uses Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and every one of the individuals who were part of that movement in their own words and own writings. We're talking in their own writings, in their own words. There is no hyperbole or conjecture at all. So I would implore you to watch it. We'll take a break. Let's get some weather, and we'll return more news and more views and continue with the show right here on WTIC.
The NAACP calls him, whoa, I don't think I'm allowed to read this.
It's Reese on the radio.
Let's just say some people are not fans.
On News Talk 1080.
WTIC.
As I said in the opening of the show, what are they fighting for? And I think I've got to call Samantha Craven. I just watched a video, or at least I sort of lip read a video she just did where she's walking around with a sign that says, I support ICE. Those of you who remember Samantha Craven, her full name, Samantha Craven Antal, she was the woman who was struck in the face by a woman in Harlem as they were having a conversation about abortion. And then, of course, what's his name? Not William Barr. What the heck am I forgetting his name for? Anyway, the district attorney ended up dropping the case, and now she's suing them. So she's still out doing her thing, and Samantha is such a great host in all of that. She's in New York. Hopefully I can get her here in studio with her husband. But she just did this video talking to a young liberal white woman about her sign. And the white woman accosts her and said she doesn't like her sign. And Samantha puts a microphone in her face to ask her why she doesn't like the sign. So I'm going to play it for you tomorrow. Hopefully we'll get Samantha on the program soon enough. Speaking of people coming in to the show, we've got a full week this week because a couple of people I saw yesterday, at least one person I saw yesterday, is coming on the program. Let's start with tomorrow. We are going to speak to Reverend Boise Kimball. He'll be on the program. You might remember him. There's a little shot of him. Reverend Boise Kimball, speaking of ICE, referred to them as the KKK while he was in Jacksonville, Florida last week. We'll have him on the show. We'll talk to him about that. And then on Wednesday, we've got Matt Corey, who is the gentleman who ran against Chris Murphy in the last election. Matt Corey and I talked yesterday at the Trump store. He'll be here live on Wednesday at 4. And then we have got Betsy McCoy, who's coming on the program also on Thursday. She'll be live in studio as well. So we got a pretty full week, a lot of politics stuff. And we'll talk to those great people and talk about that. I got some tough questions for Betsy McCoy. And I think it's right to ask the question. I don't want to feel like I'm railroading her, but there's a question a lot of people are asking. I know a lot of you like her. You know, she is a very feisty conservative. she's got the chops, don't get me wrong, but there are some other questions that linger. So we'll get to those. And, of course, we'll talk about our campaign in beginning that campaign as well. Thank you guys for finding the audio that I played awesome. Fritz is like, wow. Michael A. says that was awesome. So thank you. If you're looking for it, please go on X and find Chad Jackson or Chad O. Jackson. His Twitter handle, he's got it displayed on there today. And he said something on there that made me play it. He said, when you're celebrating Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday, please consider this video. And I watched it this morning, and I said, you know what? That's what I'm playing. So I'm glad he put that together. Speaking of my guest, Matt Corey, who's coming in on Wednesday, I saw him at the Trump store in Vernon. And as you know, we were in Vernon on Friday, which, again, I want to thank you, the Puyas, Jerry, Lori, Caitlin, Chris, all of the employees who were so gracious to us, and thank you for having us in Vernon on Hartford Turnpike. Can't wait to do it again. And everyone that was there. I forgot. Why am I forgetting his name now? Greg Dillon, of course, from the book Thin Blue Lie. Also, Jason Jakubowski from Connecticut Food Share, who was there. I think we made close to, if not, around like $700, $800 that day in selling coupons. So I want to thank all those folks as well. Everybody who showed up, all of you who showed up. Carmelo was there. Teresa was there. Thank you guys for showing up. Everybody, Todd O showed up. And forgive me if I forget a lot of other people. Anyway, so going into Vernon, and I go to the Trump store on Saturday. Yes, I went Saturday. We went there. We bought a couple of things. I bought the hat I'm wearing. And, I was talking to a couple of people there. And they were all nice, pleasant folks. But I've been to a couple of Republican events in Connecticut. And there are some things that I am seeing that I'm not happy with as a Republican. Not that I'm ashamed. I'm not ashamed in any way of being a conservative here in Connecticut. But there is a theme, and it's not a good one. And something must be done about it. So let me explain in the most graceful way that I can. I, for the first time, am starting to understand why some politicians are not listening to the Republican constituents in Connecticut. It is not right for them to do that, but I understand. We are not putting on a great face in Connecticut. I need people to understand that. As conservatives, we are not putting on a great face for our party. There is some sloppiness that is going on that must be addressed. Now, I am not an air out the dirty laundry kind of guy, so I don't need to nitpick. I'm not a child and I'm not a woman. With all due respect, ladies, just not. But gentlemen, step it up. Man to man, step it up. We have got to look the part, and we are not. We are not looking like conservatives. We are not behaving like conservatives. It ain't enough to be angry. It ain't enough to be bullish and foolhardy. It ain't. Measured, reasonable, yet fighters. I see a lot of people who are tired and frustrated and don't have enough fight in them. I almost feel a sense of desperation. That is the last stage of give up. Step up your game. Every day you have a fight to win. Not just fight, you have a fight to win. And I have seen some people that I ain't too happy with. And it is not the politician. It is not the person that's running. I've seen some people who are running for certain offices, and boy, they are not looking the part. There is something that must be done about how we present ourselves. Because I can get why the other side says some reprehensible things about Republicans here in Connecticut. And I see where they get it from. And it's because there is no grace or style. And what I mean in that is not just about the way we dress. It is about our delivery. It cannot be gravelly and just ticked off. It can't always be about the Democrats. God love Ralph in South Carolina. But I know Ralph's stick. Ralph is about, what about the Democrats? What about the Democrats? What about the Democrats? It ain't enough. It ain't enough. It's like going out to a nightclub looking for a mate, or anywhere for that matter, looking for your future girlfriend, wife, spouse, whatever the case may be. And you can talk to somebody who seems to be presenting well, not just in clothing, but in behavior. Or you could be talking to the person who's alone, moaning and groaning about how great the other people look. Oh, look at her. Oh, look at her. Oh, look how nice she's dressed. Oh, must be nice to be able to buy Manolo Blahniks. No one finds that attractive. No one does. You have got to be about something. And if the only thing you're about is how screwed up they are, you're about nothing. Do you understand me? You're about nothing. If the only thing you're about is who they are. Be about something. Present yourself. Present it well. People get tired of hearing you moan about others. They do. It's really easy for people to get tired of that. Yeah, every time I say that guy, he's always ragging about Democrats. You know, he never really has any, ideas. He's just moaning and groaning. Gets tired. That's why when I go out, you'll hear me. And everybody can vouch for this. If you're listening to my voice, you've seen me out in the streets. What do you see me do? You see me all up in your face? Nope. I'm as quiet as they get. I'm a talk show host. I talk for a living. You see me out in public, I don't even want to converse. Because I'm about something. I'm not about moaning about the left. I could do that on my show all day. And so can you. But you have to be about something. And you have got to be presenting about something. You got to show people why your ideas are sound. You got to show people why who you are is not just a good person, but how you can display that and make and present that to people so that you attract them to who you are. Making this about fighting with the other side? Great, you can fight. Now what? When I talk to these people, like I did at the ICE thing, at the whole ICE vigil, as they tried to call it, I stood there with my hands in my pocket in the middle of the fray, talking to one of the protesters there, while he's screaming and hollering about, this is just wrong, don't you think? Maybe. What, you don't think that it's wrong? Do I have to? Well, I mean, it's happening all around you. I have a particular opinion. I mean, if you want to hear it, I'd be happy to give it to you. But if you don't, that's okay. Tell me more. No, I'm interested now. Okay. I think there are some people here who are in the country who shouldn't belong here. And I believe that some of them are dangerous. I think we should parse out the people who are dangerous and who are not. If you want to keep the people here who are good, we should at least display who those good people are. Do your best to protect them. I don't hear that argument happening. I just hear ICE bad, immigration good. And I think it's more nuanced than that. Don't you? And he goes, well, I mean, that's it. I was like, no, it's okay. No big deal.
Of course you can have your opinion. And when I presented to him like that, I was like, I'm absolutely fine with what you believe. I was like, oh, you sound like you're a MAGA person. What if I am? Maybe you're not a MAGA person. That's all right for you to be. It's all right for you to be a person who doesn't like MAGA. That's okay. I have no problem with that. Drives them nuts every time. You want to know why? I'm not diffusing. I'm telling him in a nice way his opinion is meaningless. He's just a guy with an opinion. And his opinion isn't going to make or break me. His ideology isn't going to break anything. He's a schmo with an opinion. In no way do I believe in giving it a megaphone in my conversation with him. I just simply pat him on the back and tell him it's going to be okay. It's all right for you to believe what you believe. And I will patiently tell him an alternative way of looking at it. My message and my point has been made, and I walk away. And the next time that I see him, and I did, as he was leaving, I walked up to him and I shook his hand and I said, good talking to you. It was nice talking to you too, and walked away. So, when I see you out there in the street, ladies and gentlemen, and you're a conservative, and by the way, I want to say this more so to men than I am about women, present your point of view. Do it well. Look the part. Look the way that you believe, I should say. Stop phoning it in. You want to make a difference? Get past the anger. Leave that to the bozos. You're just itching for a fight. You want to jump in. Look at them. They're breaking stuff. I want to go in there and stop. Nope. Because then everyone else sees two fools instead of one. Don't join the fools. And look the part. Present the case. I hate that I have to show people how to win. It makes me arrogant, and I'm not trying to be. I'm just trying to win. And if I have to come off arrogant in order to do so, fine. It's okay. Those opinions are small. If you're paying attention to the big picture, you can get past that. But like I said, I've got a goal. Selfish as it may be, it's no offense, but not about you. But in order for you to get it done, you're going to have to step up your game. If you really believe in getting it done, you will. Or you won't. But don't complain afterwards. I'll be asking you, what did you do? Who did you influence? Who did you bring to your side? Or did you just scream, fuss, and fight throughout the whole thing? Trust me, I'll be able to tell. Let's take a break. We'll be back. More news, more views. We'll wrap up the show. And plus your phone calls at 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
I wonder if I should do this because technically it is the music news of the day. So I figured I could do this.
Yeah. Don't cancel me yet. Give me yeah. Wake up, phone glow, scrolling like, let's see. Everybody mad at somebody that's not me. New post saying breathing is offensive. I'm like, I just woke up, how am I a menace? One day, Charles say, every dude is toxic. Tuesday, they need a strong man for the optics. One thread say, man, sit down, stay quiet. Next clip, where the girl is at? I can't find her. One show say my grandma's collar backwards. Slang show, using Brahma slinging now, but after. Whole folks school and did they shout in the segment. In Broward, signature, we lost all our blessings. They like that's racist. Can't set it or raise it. Think twice strong and they basic. Whole world yelling that's racist. That's racist. Sip side same phrases. Dual same places. Whatever the day is, the phrase is. Yeah, that's racist. racist. Turn on CNN panel, look a word. Every single topic, the nation's in a hurry. Understand what my screen, righteous in a circle. Send a fair of Sammers, calling more commercials. The view at 11, coffee on the table. 1 minute, man, bad, next we needle stable. One day, stay home, girl, love yourself, yeah. Next day, bones up, fan Josh posting new white girls in the comments that we hate Karens. Next bitch ain't cool, leading all the errands, screaming. That's harassment at the drive-through curb. But we won this world on they phone like we're on today. So which is it today, queen or villain? You can't say queen has old school chillin'. I take back 8 and now queen is a tonkin' in my brain doing backflips, keeping up at all of it. They like that's racist. Can't say that erase it. Change one word, still face it. Old cow shouting, that's racist. That's racist. New rules,
That's right. From Reese on the Radio Records and Tapes. That's racist. From lowercase g. I think I'm just going to do this whole music thing all over again. Why not? What do you think, Roland? No? No? Hater. It's such a hater. Just stone cold hating. Just go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. You can also go to the YouTube page, and you will. I actually I have a surprise for Roseanne coming up. She won't be here. She'll be here this week, but she won't be here the week after because she's going to Virginia to go visit the boy and her friends. She misses all of her friends, and the boy's going. He's going to be leaving for the Citadel in August. And so she wants to spend some time with him. So she's going to be, at the end of the month, she won't be here on that Friday, but she'll be here this Friday. So she'll be back. Gosh, will she be back at the end of the month? So anyway, we'll talk to her about that trip when we get back. And plus, we'll get to your phone calls. 860-522-WTIC. Tell me what you think. It's Reese on the Radio.
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
I was just telling Roland behind the scenes of my defunct hip-hop career. A lot of people don't know that story. I don't really talk about it because I have a great opportunity to talk about it here because it's Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday, and it's like, a lot of people aren't at work, so, it's lighthearted to just tell the story. But I'll let me tell the story since I already told it to Roland. So Roland, indulge me because you'll hear it over again. So back in the days, what was very popular, and a lot of you Gen Xers will know this, because a lot of you, only being in Connecticut, were very involved with hip-hop in its early stages. Not like we don't have hip-hop artists here in Connecticut. I mean, we've got Chris Webby, for crying out loud. So being in the tri-state area, you almost felt like you were part of that movement in the 80s. And what was very popular back in the days was there was a lead rapper or a group, and they always had a backup dancer. And I was a shy guy. I was funny, but I was shy in the sense of I didn't want to be the star of anything. And being in the background, just hanging on, just hanging out, yeah, do your rap thing, and I'll do it. Because what I started doing was hip-hop dance. My mom taught me how to dance when I was a kid, and I loved hip-hop so much, and I loved being a dancer. It was the only thing I would do. And so Jamie Montgomery, my best friend at the time, I'd known him since the 6th grade. We're like 16, 17. Gosh, we're probably even older than that. I want to say, about 17, 18 years old. And all he wanted to do was be a rapper. And he hooked up with a guy that was associated with Salt and Pepper, and a guy had a home studio, and Jamie was going down there every other week to go record something. And finally, this guy, Irving, said, listen, it's all great, but I think we need to make you a group. It'd be great if you had someone else with you. And so Jamie naturally thought of his best friend. Comes back home and he says, Reese, you want to come down to the studio and do a little, I was like, rap? I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I said, dude, I just want to be in the background. I don't want to be up front. He's like, no, it's like, you could do this. You just write a rhyme, and if they like it, they'll just try it out. So I'm like, all right, fine. So I sat home and I wrote out a couple of songs. Jamie and I worked on them together. Fine. We get there. We do the demo. And we had fun. I'd never recorded before. Never wore the headphones. Never done anything close to it. But it was professional enough for me. And we did it. We did a whole bunch of takes. And It was great. It was fun. I'm getting a laugh. I wish people had the outtakes. It was so much fun. Go home, think nothing of it. We recorded about 2 or 3 songs. Go home, think nothing of it. In my head, nothing's going to come of this. Sure enough, my whole life goes as it does. I moved to Manhattan. It's 1991, right? About late 90, summer 91. I'm married, and actually, I apologize. Summer 1992. Married, and I have a son, Caleb. Caleb was born July. So, gosh, I said 3 months, Roland. I don't think he was a month old, now that I think about it. And we're living in Manhattan on Thompson Street, 174 Thompson. I still remember it. And I get a phone call, and it's Irving. I don't know how the hell this guy got my number, but he got it. I hadn't seen him in years. 21, 22 now. Irving picks up the phone. I mean, I pick up the phone. It's Irving. It's like, hey, Reese, what's going on? I'm like, cool. I said, I got somebody to listen to your demo, and they really like you, and this record label would like to meet up with you. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of weird. Like, my life is a little different now. I'm married. I got a kid. I live in Manhattan. I'm not even in Queens anymore. He was like, that's a problem. The place is in Manhattan. You could go down there. I'm like, okay, cool. Jamie's in Virginia. Jamie's all the way in Virginia. Let's call him and see if he can make it up to New York. Guy goes, Jamie? I go, yeah, the guy who did the demo for. He goes, they don't want him. So I'm like, what? He goes, no, they're not interested in him. They liked you. And I'm like, ooh, yeah, no, I don't think I could do that. He goes, why not? They like you. You probably get a record deal out of this. No, that's like Jamie's dream. Like, Jamie is still rapping in 1992. Like, this kid, he's one of those other kids. He's saying that somebody's going to hear him. He's going to get a career. This is his dream. Me? No parts. I'm just trying to live my life. Again, all I want to do is do radio. Because, again, I can be behind the scenes. Nobody can see me. I was a background guy. So I'm like, okay, fine. Somebody's got to call Jamie and tell him. They had no intention of doing it. So I have to. So I wait a day. And, again, I'm up late at night. And that's how I know this all sort of plays a role in this. So I'm already up late at night because Caleb, my son, is only about a month or so old. And I had spent the first 6 months of his life sleeping on the floor next to his bassinet with a pocket mirror because I kept checking to see if he was breathing. Because when he was born, there were some weird breathing issues. He had to stay in an incubator, and I was scared to death. Plus the fact that my mom had in my head when we told her we were having a baby, she said, oh, sweetheart, you couldn't keep a cactus alive. So, of course, I've got a baby with breathing problems, so I'm sleeping on the floor, making sure every 15 minutes that he's breathing. Anyway, what am I doing in the middle of the night? I'm watching old reruns of The Honeymooners. And those of you who have watched The Honeymooners know this episode well. Ralph and Ed Norton write a song together, and they are trying to sell it to a record label. Do you remember? And they didn't like Ralph's lyrics. They loved Ed Norton's music. This episode aired that night as I'm watching it. And at the end, you all remember, I guess I'm not giving anything away, it's The Honeymooners, for crying out loud. Spoiler alert is warranted. At the end, Norton comes bursting into the door and says, hey, Ralph, turn on the radio, turn on the radio. And Ralph turns on the radio, and there is their song. Ed Norton wouldn't take the deal with the guy who just wanted his music. He rejected the deal that they got. Even Ralph telling him, it's okay, you take it. He rejected it, and he found a record label that would play the song with its original lyrics so that Ralph would get credit. And I saw that, and I went, thank you, God. Gave me my calling at that point, told me what to do. And I called Irving, and I said, no, thank you. If it's not without Jamie, I can't do it. And I turned it down. I called Jamie. A couple of months later, Jamie ended up back in New York. I bought some recording equipment, and Jamie and I recorded a demo together and a couple of songs together that we actually sold out of our backpack because I just said I couldn't be compromised. I couldn't sell them out, and there was no way I was going to do that because I would feel awful. And Jamie always respected me for that. He just said, you never know what could have happened. But for me, it was just wrong. I just couldn't do it. In my heart of hearts, I couldn't do it. But I've always been a writer, and that was sort of what I was doing there. So I've always loved writing. I've always loved, but I don't want to be the guy rapping. I just don't. It's a level of scrutiny that I have about myself that I just don't want to do. So I'll let somebody else do it. I'm not doing it. So that's what it's always been about. I've always loved the music, all types of music. Maybe not bluegrass and what's that other one? Polka. But I've always loved, and maybe not that much country. But I've always written, and I've always loved writing, so it's a nice opportunity to get to do that all over again. I just wanted to share that. So, Roland, that was a good deal, right? Would you have done that? Would you have turned down the deal if your pals were if they had asked you and not your friends, would you have turned it down? Or would your friends have encouraged you to just take it?
No, I would have taken it.
You would have done it?
Yeah, I would have done it. And then after,
you establish yourself?
Yeah, then I'd have brought him in.
But friends that's the thing, man. Friends, they don't like waiting around. When they miss the opportunity, they get bitter.
Yeah, you could wait around with $100,000 in your pocket.
You would have laced them up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really? You would have laced them up?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's your best friend, and y'all do music together, and you make it, and he don't. You gotta lace him up.
Yeah, I would. I guess you're right. I guess that would have been fair. But I just something about
Put some money in the pocket. Say hold tight. Don't spend it all. Hold tight. Start working on your craft a little bit more, and then once I get to the next level.
Yeah.
Then you write, or even once I start working on my album. You're on the album.
That, you know what? That always, can I tell you? Because I thought about that too. That was also in my sort of thought process in it. And I spoke to my wife then at the time. She said exactly as you. Make it, do an album, and, if it's really as successful, you bring them in and you maybe have them do a guest spot. And if they hear him, maybe that could then launch his career. I thought about that, and guess what? It kept running through my head. What if they reject him? What if he only gets rejected a second time?
It don't matter. He's on a record. He's on the album, and if the album goes platinum, he's a platinum selling artist.
That's true. Maybe I didn't think that through.
How old were you?
About 22.
Oh yeah, that's why.
Yeah. Okay.
That's why. Young
and dumb.
It takes some time to get that knowledge.
Yeah, I guess so.
Some people got it, and the ones that do have it at that age, they're the ones that become the Jay-Z's and the 50 Cents and those guys. They had the knowledge at that younger age, where some people take to 35, they have it at 20.
But it's so funny because I watched a couple of years back 50 Cent talking to Angie Martinez about just that. Mm-hmm. And he said, and it is weird because one thing I love, one of my favorite people in the whole G-Unit thing is Tony Yayo.
Yeah.
He is my favorite person of any entourage ever in history. Maybe with the exception of, what's his name from the Lost Boys who passed away?
Mr. Cheeks?
Yeah, is it Mr. Cheeks?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Cheeks. But I love Tony Yayo. And 50 tells this great story about Tony Yayo asking him to let me hold something, to give him some money. Did you ever watch that?
Yeah, I watch. I'm a fan of Tony Yayo's too, but I'm also a fan of 50, the young 50.
Yes, me too.
When he was out there grinding, and the stuff that he would say would let you know that he was above everybody else.
Oh, totally. He had the star power was there from get go.
Yep.
I mean, you just know it. But anyway, he was talking to Angie Martinez about Tony Yayo saying to him, in essence, let me hold something. And Yayo's reasoning for that was because you have so much. Mm-hmm. And 50 having to explain to him it doesn't work like that. And it's an important thing to learn in that arena because of stories like MC Hammer. Yeah. Who got all of that fame and all of that money and gave it all away. I would have been MC Hammer. I'm telling you, in that scenario, I would have felt an obligation to make sure Jamie was taken care of to my own detriment, because I would have felt that I stole something from him.
Yeah, but you can't look at it like that.
I know.
You can't look at it like that. I had that. And you know what's crazy? I had that opportunity, and funny enough, Missy Elliott messed everything up for our deal.
Wow.
When we were with Rough Riders, then we had a deal with Atlantic Records, and we were going in for the big signing meeting.
Yeah.
We were waiting in that lobby probably, 9 hours.
Oh, yes.
We got there like 11 in the morning, and then we were supposed to get seen at 1, so we got there 2 hours early. Then Missy and her management walked in. We watching them walk in, talking to everybody. They're in a meeting forever. They was in a meeting for like 7 hours.
Wow.
And they just never came to get us. And the secretary came down and apologized. It was like, can we get you guys in tomorrow? The problem was, just like in your scenario, my best friend, my boy, who was the producer, and I wrote the lyrics, he had just got a new job. His wife was on him because we were both out of work. We were both out of work for like 3 years trying to do this music thing.
Wow.
So struggling, like really struggling. No money here and there. Wife supporting.
Yeah. Supporting the dream.
So, no, not supporting the dream, taking care of the bills in the household.
Just taking care. Yeah.
And we on our own. And she told him he had to get a job or she's leaving. He got a job. And this was like his first week of work. So he took that day off, which he didn't want. His wife was mad that he took the day. And he's like, I can't take another day off.
Yeah.
I'm going to lose my job. And then I might lose my wife. So that's how that happened. And we try to send stuff over the email, music over the, but it's just not the same.
Yeah.
It's just not the same. And that's when I was like, you know what? Maybe it just wasn't meant to be in that respect. Because then I started writing for other artists after that. So I was like, maybe it was meant for me to go that route.
Does it ever itch at you?
Yeah, all the time. I think about it all the time. Because I'm like, what was going to happen in that room where we were going to go and sign? But then I was like hearing all these stories and things that I know about the industry and have experienced. I was like, maybe I would have been dead or in jail.
Right, maybe. Right, you never know. Right, it's not your plan; it's all God's, man.
Maybe it was good I didn't go in that room.
Which is speaking of another great line, 50 Cent. This is God's plan, homie. This ain't mine.
Yeah.
And it's like you just have to accept it. Acceptance is the answer, as we like to say.
It's hard though. It's hard. It's hard
because
when you're giving your all and trying your all and you doing all, staying up, we in the studio 72 hours straight, ordering food and not wanting to go home, stank funky and just really trying to get it done. And we were up in Yonkers a lot at the studios, Rough Riders Studios.
Imagine when, I know the feeling when you hear the finished product and you're loving every bit of it.
Amazing.
Oh, it's just.
That's why I never did drugs. Like that was.
that was the drug.
That was the process of it coming out of your head.
Yeah.
Onto the paper.
Yes.
In the studio, rough drafts, fine tuning, mastering.
Yeah.
Hearing the finished product, it was like, I can't wait to hear the finished product of this.
It is creating a child, man, in a weird way.
Yeah.
It is a child because it's a living. People don't understand it. It is a living and breathing thing. I think anybody who creates knows what that's like.
Yeah.
It is a living and breathing thing. And aside from the fact that you love it the most, you critique it the most too.
Yeah.
Because you can find the little quits. It's right there. I was like,
that long breath, that pop, that click, all of that.
Yeah,
Gotta get it out of there.
You can hear it.
It'll and everybody be like, I love the song. And all you hear is the two things that you wish you could redo.
Yep. Oh, man. Boy. That's a talk. That's a walk down memory lane. Thank you for that, Roland. You have no idea. That was fun. We'll take a break. We'll come back. More news, more views. We'll get to your phone calls. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC NewsTalk 1080.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC NewsTalk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app. Search WTIC NewsTalk 1080 and tap earlier today to get started.
By the way, if you are just joining us this hour, please be reminded that tomorrow we've got plenty of guests this week. Starting with Tuesday, we have none other than Reverend Boise Kimmel. He's going to be on the phones. I would have rather him be here, but he will not, probably because he lives all the way south of here. But he's going to be on the phone. We'll talk to him about what he said about ICE agents, comparing them to the KKK. You will probably be surprised at his views on that, but we will ask him how indeed they do compare to the KKK. So That's right, Boise Kimball. He's been a guest on the show before. He'll be back again. Also on Wednesday, we've got Matt Corey. He will be here. You remember him, former Senate candidate, now running for lieutenant governor here in Connecticut. He'll be on the program. He'll be live in studio. And then on Thursday, we've got Betsy McCoy, former lieutenant governor of New York, now running for governor here in the state of Connecticut. So all three of those folks will be here this week, jam-packed week. I know that someone is working on getting some really, really big guests. I don't know if that's going to happen this month. Maybe it will be next month, but I know we're working on Mike Rowe, Riley Gaines, and J.D. Vance, Vice President J.D. Vance, of course. I don't know if the president thing is going to happen. My wife's a little loony with that one, but I love Roseanne. I do. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think. Did your wife ever do that, or did you ever have anybody in your life do that with you that sort of is so proud of you? It's almost like Hercules. Like, do you have anybody like that? Is your mom like that, Roland, in any way?
Yeah, not really.
Okay. It's a weird thing.
My mom will say stuff that I know I can't do, though.
Really?
And she'll be like, yeah, you know you could do that. I'll be like, no, I can't. Like, what are you talking about?
She has delusions of grandeur when it comes to things that you can do. Can you describe some of the things she's talking about? Like, does she say, oh, my son could dunk?
No, I could dunk. Like anything I'm involved in, like in music, she's like,
yeah.
I'm like, I try to get these 3 songs done by tomorrow, but I can't do it. She's like, oh yeah, you could get those 3 songs done. I'm like, I'm telling you that I can't get it. I can't get it done.
Baby, just believe in yourself. Just believe. That's all you have to do.
It's impossible. She doesn't understand like everything that goes into making a song. How you got to go to the studio, record, edit, do this, do that.
Yeah.
You can't do it in 24 hours.
Yeah. So apparently, Roseanne did something absolutely insane. But when your wife does something like that, you can't be mad at her, even though you know what she's doing is absolutely insane. So she does it, and then she says the words you should never say to your husband. You're going to be mad at me.
Oh, man.
And I go, what do you mean you're going to be mad? I'm going to be mad at you. She goes, so I just put in a request for an interview. And I'm like, with whom? She was like, Donald Trump. I'm like, what? What are you doing? She goes, no, I think he would really love to come on your show. And I'm like, okay, Roseanne, I don't want to like completely well, who would poo-poo that? And I look at her and I go, and I can't do anything but just say, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. I really appreciate you loving me so much. But for her to say, he would love to come on. Maybe they'll listen to the show and they'll be really excited about bringing him on. I'm going, okay, sweetheart. Goodness. I was like, okay, sweetheart. But I'm like, thank you. She goes, you never know. Yeah. And then when it happens, what am I going to do then? Right? And I have to look at her and just go, yeah, believe in yourself. Just what do you do? I would have to sit back and just go, obviously my wife knows something I don't. So if it happens, it happens. I just
you never know, Reese.
Hercules. That's what she sounds like. As soon as she said it, I went, boy, do you have a lot of faith in me, sweetheart. And she does. I love her for it. I love her. I do not, and I mean it. I could not have asked for a better wife. I could not have done it. Let's take a break. Let's get.
I hope so. After 4 tries, I hope you get it right.
I was hoping nobody would bring that up, Roland. They always do, though.
That's what I'm here for.
We'll take a break, check some weather, and we'll be back and wrap all of this up when we return to Reese on the Radio. What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is. You know who it is.
It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, we are wrapping it up and getting out of here. I hope that you are enjoying your day off, doing some chores, maybe some shoveling, maybe running some errands, doing all that good stuff. I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing when I go home. Oh, yeah, I have to find out what my new parking space is that I have to do. There's no football today, so that sucks. Has nothing to do. Wow, I'm going to have a quiet Monday. I got to find something to do. It seems like it's like, is it already dark outside? Yes, it is. Damn. I feel like I need to do something, so I'm just going to go home and do nada. That's all. Sit in the house. Maybe watch some television. I haven't watched anything in a while. Oh, I didn't watch yesterday's Landman. That's what I'll do. I haven't seen that. It's a it's supposed to be a really good one, too. So I'll watch that. And, I don't know, maybe Jesse Waters. The 5 is still on, so we'll probably watch that. I don't know. Sounds like it's going to be another boring day, so we'll be back here tomorrow. Let's get to the phones. Our very own provocateur, White Mike, is on the line. What's going on, buddy? Happy weekend to you.
Yeah, same to you. First of all, I don't think it's pretty weird that I'm the whitest white guy on the planet. I'm going to spend my evening watching basketball on Martin Luther King Day, and you're not.
I am not afraid. I'll tell you this. I hate seasonal basketball. I love the playoffs. I never, because it sounds like 82 games for me is just too much. One of the reasons why I hate the NFL is because they extended it to 18 games.
So a couple things real quick here. It is Martin Luther King Day, and I always wondered why when they set this holiday up, they didn't set it up for the day he was assassinated, so it could be like an equal opportunity holiday for everybody.
Help me understand that. So you're saying April 4th as opposed to January?
Yeah. So then the people who loved him can mourn, and those who didn't like him can celebrate. And it's win-win for everybody.
It's true because, I talked about this. People, they get mad at me, but it's a fact. I was on the air. In fact, my boss was listening to the show and didn't know this. I read a list. It was after Charlie Kirk was killed. I read a list of these people who were cheering the assassination, but I made it sound like these people were celebrating the assassination of Charlie Kirk. But after I read it, I said, these are all the things that people did after the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., John F. Kennedy, and Robert Kennedy. There were people, 4th graders were celebrating the murder of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. 4th graders.
The Kennedys were not popular in the South.
No!
When AFK was smoked, people were happy. But so get back on this subject real quick. So the NBA is making a big deal about, look at all the basketball games we have on Martin Luther King Day.
Really?
But yes, but what would happen if Popeyes had a Martin Luther King Day chicken sale? they would freak out, right? They would lose their minds. Like, that's racist.
You know what? I agree with you. Do you remember when Columbia University got in trouble for the same thing? It was Juneteenth, and they had actually asked the students what they wanted served in the lunchroom, and they chose collard greens, watermelon, and fried chicken, and someone found something. I'm like, this was chosen by the black students.
Thank you. So, dude, I don't know. Dude, it's just crazy that they can be so blatantly racist. I mean, it's straight up racist to say, hey, black folk, we know you like basketball. Here you go. That's really what you're saying.
It totally is. And again, you know what? It is. People always talk about the soft bigotry and low expectations. I believe it's nothing more than acceptable bigotry. And that's what it is. It's acceptable bigotry. Joe Biden, if you don't know whether or not you should vote for me or Trump, you ain't black. Acceptable bigotry.
And I keep hot sauce in my purse and all that.
Yes,
stuff.
exactly.
Real quick, in closing, you guys spent about 20 minutes, reminiscing about your hip-hop careers.
Oh, yes.
I always said that being the greatest rapper in the world is like being a gold medalist at the Special Olympics. There is not a hip-hop group in the history of the world who has a modicum of the talent of a one-hit wonder 80s hair metal band. Not one.
No, oh, come on now. Listen to me. I fight that. I fight that through and through. Here's why.
Right. Stick on a treble clef. It's computers and beats, and it's not like a person.
Not necessarily true, because I can name you several groups that do not and are absolutely originalist in the sense of, because the Roots, I think, are a perfect example from the beginning.
Well,
they stayed away from sampling.
But Japanese people tend to be short.
Goodbye. Get out of here.
All right.
He is such a hater. Goodness gracious. God love him. Again, let me explain something to you so everybody knows. It's like, why do you talk to that guy? I love people like I'm not afraid of him. I embrace people like him. You should actually embrace some of the nonsense that White Mike says, because there's a reason for it, and that is we have lived in a world that is absolutely offended, even us, who have scream and holler about political correctness every day, and then a White Mike shows up and everybody goes, oh my goodness, relax. It doesn't mean anything. It is not. Stop clutching your pearls. I can listen, and I can disagree with him too, because it doesn't change my friendship with him. I love White Mike, and he loves me, and he sometimes is a radical lunatic, but I love him. I accept him for who he is, as he does with me. So you can learn for a little bit from White Mike, take trips and traps, but he still makes me laugh. That's what I love about him. Let's go to Adam in East Hartford. Oh, sorry, wrong. There he goes. Hey, Adam, how are you?
Good. I just want to tell you it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure meeting Roseanne and seeing you again. I met you and Joey at the Hilton Suites before. Remember?
Yes, I do remember, Adam. And thank you for showing up again. Always supporting the show is the best, man. Thank you, man. We wouldn't be here without you guys.
And how'd the fundraising event go?
It actually did. It did really well. I think we did just under, if not a little over, about $800 in the day in just coupon sales altogether. And we're talking about like a $24 coupon. And they did. That was the purchase of the $24 coupon, and then online, or I guess they went online because people wanted to bring cash. So we just sent them online to just donate that day, and everybody who showed up did. And so just in that sitting in 4 hours altogether, we pulled in about $800.
It was a pleasure for me to meet Jane from Bloomfield, a really nice
Yes, Jane, as Roland calls her, my stalker. But she is a treat. She's a treat. She's so energetic. I don't know. That woman is going to live forever, because she has got the energy of a bunny rabbit, my friend. She is absolutely, she's always excited to see me, and I love her to death for that, and I always appreciate her showing us so much love, and she loved herself some Roseanne.
I'll end it with this note. Tell Roseanne I said hi, and I'll keep listening to the show, all right?
You got it. Thank you so much, Adam.
Thanks.
You got it. Tom in Thomaston, how are you, sir?
Hey, I'm well, Reese. Thanks.
My pleasure.
Hey, Reese.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Are you being pulled over? No.
No, but don't be careful while you drive.
Yeah.
You're an idiot. Anyway, Reese, a month or two ago, you made a joke about you don't like blind musicians.
It's not a joke.
Could that have anything to do with what Ray Charles' view on rap and hip-hop?
No, it isn't.
Right.
Let me explain it to you. And it sounds mean-spirited. It isn't. It's just because, okay, I have always been uncomfortable with people making much ado about people's blindness and them playing music. That's all I'm saying. It's just overblown. I get it. And all I'm saying is we wouldn't have so many of them if it was a phenomenon. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, I got you. Because his views on rap and hip-hop are kind of mine. I don't get it. I'll just never get it.
You know what? So, let me explain. Can I explain it to you? I think I can do this. You're my last but not least caller today. I can break this down to you, at least from my point of view. And I can't speak for everybody else in the hip-hop game. Maybe Roland will jump in on this. But if you can can you turn your radio down a little bit, because I'm getting feedback.
No, my radio's off.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it may just be where you are. Okay, so let me explain it this way. So for a certain few, at a particular time of hip-hop or rap for that matter, there was something that spoke uniquely to that group of people in that generation. And it was the late 70s, and I want to say 79, to about 85 and 86. And there were all of these different groups with different sounds and styles, but they all represented one thing, and it was a genre that no one, or a group of people that no one else was paying attention to. Because at the time, disco was dying, and that wasn't for kids. Rock and roll was not really our music in a sense. It was appealing to white suburban kids or white inner city kids in sort of like places like Brooklyn. This music was unique to young kids that were looking for something that represented them uniquely, and rap music did that. And it was talking about things that we liked or cared about. It wasn't just about violence. It was also about having a good time or being the best or inspiring people to do good or to be good to themselves. And it just had a great and playful feel to it. And we just loved it. It is not for everyone. But I'll admit, it is not what it used to be. I would love to have hip-hop back to what it was in the 80s. Because if I mentioned the groups that we were listening to and you would see the pictures of them, you would see a whole bunch of black kids, but they were all dressed differently.
Yeah, but you also had a bunch of young white kids. My theory,
yes.
Reese, is the music you listen to from like 12 to 25.
Yeah.
That's the music you love, and when you get older, it kind of reminds you of your youth, so
yes.
You're always going to love that
exactly.
music.
It is your formative years. That's exactly right.
I'm just like Ray Charles. I don't really get it. Can I ask you one quick question on Somalia?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, Reese, isn't it correct, you or I, if we go to the bank and cash a check for $10,000, doesn't the bank have to report that to the government?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So how in God's green earth was millions and millions of dollars in suitcases that the airport security checked? How was that just allowed to go to Somalia from like they said it started in, 2016?
Yep.
No, 2008 or something. How could that possibly happen?
You know exactly how it happened. They look the other way because the state is corrupt, and that's the thing that is really killing everything about that state right now, is that it was a rogue state, dude. It was.
So if the higher-ups don't go to jail in that state, then why do it? Why should us do anything legal?
This administration will lose a lot of faith, I would say this: MAGA or conservatives or just regular folks will lose a lot of faith in this administration if it does not hold people accountable in Minnesota. I will tell you that right now. I mean, it is all in on these folks getting this corruption paid for and people being held responsible, or else he can forget about his legacy. Because it would be like Obama and the banks, right? It was like Obama running against all the banks and all the corruption and then coming in and giving them a bailout. It was the first thing that people criticized Obama about. Because, of course, in his re-election campaign, who funded it? Wall Street banks.
I think those Somalia people make Nancy Pelosi look like a piker, you know?
You're 100% right, my friend. You sure are 100% right. Thank you, boss man, as always.
Right.
You got it. Yeah, man. Yeah, he's got it. Listen, I will hold Trump and the administration's feet to the fire. I hear Eric Swalwell might be getting it, too. Can't wait. Can't wait. Thank you, Michael A. I appreciate it. John Beckman says, Ronnie Millsap put out great music, by the way. I'm sure he did. He was right. But can Stevie Wonder read music? Beckman, you're the worst person in the world. Not to say you're not funny. You are the horrible person. It's absolutely horrible. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your mind. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. I'm Reese on the radio. You have a good night, a pleasant tomorrow. We will see you back here tomorrow with Boise Kimball, our guest at 4 o'clock. Be good, be safe, and remember, Reese on the Radio loves you. If no one else does, at least I do. See you mañana.